This is not a test.
This is not a test. Oh, I got makeup on today.
Me too.
I'm kind of a girly. Your makeup is beautiful.
A ghoulie girl?
A ghoulie girl.
A spooky duke?
Yes. A spooky duke. We're telling the followers that you started a live video. Hello, Mrs. Ohio.
What's up, Dan?
Hello. Hi. Oh, this is going to be a very interesting live tonight. I got a lot to say. I have got a lot to say.
About what?
About contest prep.
Ah.
So hey, Wonder Woman, as everybody, Jeffrey, hello, as everybody's joining in tonight.
We're probably going to give it another minute or so.
Yeah, let's give it one more minute.
But let's start talking about what we're talking about.
Okay, one more minute. Yes. So we are going to be, Alex, I am glad that you're here. Hello, welcome. Michelle.
That's you.
Aw, thank you. I am looking forward to it. We had a great photo shoot day today. It's been 3 years since I did a photo shoot.
I napped.
He napped. You were like Sleeping Beauty.
That's right. Need my beauty sleep.
Oh, so this weekend was fun too. I got to MC the New Jersey. Yep.
So it's the end of the Rev season. We have a couple more virtual shows we'll be doing, but this is the last show that we were at.
Yes, and I got to MC it, and our athletes did superb.
It's one of our favorite shows, the New Jersey State Championships, run by Diamond Gym. If you're ever up in that Maplewood area, it's one of the very good gym to go check out.
Yes, it
Dwayne
is.
McDaniels runs that place, and it's the best.
Dwayne is awesome, and so is the whole Diamond Gym family. Honored to know that lovely group of human beings. All right, so tonight we are going and diving into contest prep. We have done this before, but if you don't know, a lot of very interesting things have happened unfortunate things have happened in the industry these last couple of weeks, and I have been biting my tongue for years regarding these topics, and people are finally discussing it openly, and I can't help myself.
And unfortunately, it seems like they're only discussing it because it's leading to more clicks, but whatever the reason is, they're discussing it.
Yeah, and it needs to be discussed. So tonight, I know a lot of people are able to tune in on this, like tomorrow, they'll tune in on this later. We're going to save it on our wall. But this is a chance for you to ask us questions in the comments. Feel free to ask us questions. Hey, Fitless, I'm glad that you're here too.
Yeah, and we're going to go a lot of different ways today. I'd say probably a little more raw than we usually get.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have questions about stuff, they're like, ooh, that doesn't sound legal, this is the spot for them.
Yeah. Hey, Dawn. Hi. Great job this weekend. One of our athletes that competed this weekend. We love you. Hypo. Jess, hello. Okay, so I'm going to start with the easy side of things.
Yeah,
and then we're going to dig into some raw stuff. And contest prep, the competition world, there is a very awesome side to this sport. Obviously, I've been doing this sport since 2013. I love it.
Yeah, I've been a fan since probably 16 years old.
Yes.
I mean, I had the posters on my wall, the magazines.
Yes, love bodybuilding. But there is a side to it that people do not discuss. And I would like to say it's kind of a dark side of the sport. And
it's definitely not the light side.
It's definitely not the light side. But
what's up, Roger?
Hey, from Homedale. But these things need to be discussed with full transparency, because the biggest reason I'm doing this is because there is lack of transparency in this sport. Everything is, glamorized online, and
it's this weird wall of silence.
It's a weird wall of silence, and it honestly pisses me off. And, Randy and I, hi, if you're new here, I'm Michelle.
Usually I'm Michelle, but today I'm Randy.
Randy, we're the owners of Revolutionize Nutrition. If you're new, welcome. If you're a silent follower, we know you're there. Thank you for joining us. Randy and I, as owners of Revolutionize Nutrition, it is a nutrition company. It is a health and wellness company, and we focus on mental health there as well.
What's up, Loretta?
Hey, Loretta. We have a very tight professional circle around us. And what comes first to Randy and I is the health and well-being, both physically and mentally, of our members. And as coaches, that is something that clearly I prioritize. And obviously, every day, every year, I'm trying to be the best coach that I can be in every way that I can. Constantly learning. Now,
I stopped learning. I'm joking.
Now,
I'm a nerd.
There have been times where I have disagreed with the methods that clients would approach me with as far as illegal substances. And that is when I tell them...
And I just want to, because we're being raw tonight, which has legal substance, she's really talking steroids,
Anabolic
steroids, heavy diuretics, stuff that most people don't even hear of, T3 insulin, HGH. Luckily these are not things Rev uses, but we want to get out a lot of information about them.
Correct. So in that case, I try to talk people out of it because it's not worth their health for a freaking trophy. And second of all, if they do want to pursue that, I do refer them out because I don't want my hands on that. That does not mean I am a prude when it comes to the world of anabolics and so forth. I understand that they have been a part of bodybuilding for years, but as a health wellness professional, that part of the industry is not my priority.
And I'm also not going to sit here and say, I would never say to someone, you can do it the other way, all steroids are bad.
No.
There's ways to be done. There's hormone centers. There's things you can do. And that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what's really become...
heavy shit.
The curse of more.
Yeah. And listen, when you compete, some people have what they have like contest prep blinders on where it's like, I will do anything. I will do whatever it takes to win. But there is a line that I think you need to be aware of and, have a real talk with yourself and understand that there are repercussions to taking certain paths in this sport.
And it may not be reversible or changeable.
Right. And I, as a professional athlete, I always had a line that I would never cross. And I try to lead by example because I would never dare want somebody's life or...
Your own life.
Or health to be in my hands. I mean, contest prep's hard enough just with the diet and exercise.
I mean, you could say, you can be a little candid here. There's the reason you're not trying for the Olympia.
Yeah, there's a reason why I went pro and I just snuck in right at the right time. And this sport has evolved tremendously throughout the years. Evolved so quickly that I couldn't keep up being the type of athlete that I am. There's a reason why I'm not pursuing the Olympia because I am not willing to take X, Y, and Z to push my body to another level to get to the Olympia. It's not worth it to me, nor is there money to be won in the sport for myself.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
And again, we're really talking about the PED side of this. We're not talking about, oh man, she hasn't had a cookie in 3 months. That's not kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think that's what our audience is used to hearing. They're just used to hearing about the diet and exercise, but we need to be candid and transparent with you with other things that are going on and always have gone on in the industry.
And it's pervasive in bodybuilding, but a lot of times the fitness influencer community is bad with it too.
There's a complete lack of transparency. And I work with kids, 18, 19, 20 years old that are getting into this industry and they're looking up to professional classic physique, bodybuilding men who are 35, 40 years old, full-grown men, thinking that they are all natural.
And you're seeing in the women's divisions too.
And what's happening is that the women's divisions, I personally think...
I don't agree with it.
Has gotten out of control.
And again, to each their own, but I don't love the path it's followed where it's basically saying we know you can diet to a certain point, but what are you willing to do after that?
Right. And what happens when the stage is gone? The contest prep. What happens when the stage is done?
Yeah.
And no one thinks that far.
Yeah, I mean, there's no second life to this unless you, like we decided to open our nutrition company. Some people parlay into supplements or a personal training gig, but outside of you working it, there's nothing there.
Right. And we have had clients come to us, general nutrition clients come to us that have been in contest prep before with another coach, and they've taken some heavy stuff, and then they come to us, and I'm like, shit, I got to fix you. And it's scary. It's scary. So Yeah,
sorry, before we even get in, I've said this 100 times before, but if your source of trust on what hormones and blood work should be done is coming from a trainer or a nutritionist,
thank you.
Don't do that. Even if you trust them. If for some reason, maybe you trust them most in the world, just run it by your doctor and be candid with them. Like, I know this is not healthy, but I'm a bodybuilder. I'm going to be doing this.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. As your coach, I'm not here to read your blood work.
Because we're not. That's not our job.
That is not our job. You need to talk to a doctor. If there's something off, you need to talk to a doctor first and foremost.
Anybody can look at the paper and go, "Oh, that number seems fine," but you go to a doctor.
Absolutely fucking not. That's not in my. That's above my pay grade. But no, it's not. It's not in my.
It's a different path.
It's not. Yeah. So let's first start with the divisions and just briefly touch on that. For the women, starting from least muscular, least hard physique to the most hard physique, you have women's bikini, wellness, figure, women's physique, and bodybuilding. For men,
we have Randy class.
We have men's physique, men's classic physique, and men's bodybuilding. All divisions have a different physique style, a different image, a different amount of muscularity that's involved, and a different amount of conditioning or
yeah, well, the problem was, back in the olden days of 10 years ago.
That's changed in 10 years.
Bodybuilding was the Wild West. The line I always like, I think it's from Generation Iron of, nobody goes to a racetrack to see people drive the speed limit. I get it. That's bodybuilding, man.
You want to see the beasts.
But once, to me, the other divisions were created to get away from the PEDs. And what's happened is just they've become a haven for different PEDs and different styles.
And amounts.
So it hasn't fixed the problem, it actually made it worse.
Yeah, I think, well, there's a lot. I think there's so much to that, what you just said just there. And why is it getting worse? What's being rewarded? Why do keep people pushing the barriers?
And again, we I don't envy the judge's spot right now because you're in a position where you have to say, I know you look better, but I'm not going to reward that. Mm-hmm. So it's, listen, they do have guidelines on the on their rules, what should be what should be rewarded and what shouldn't. But it's really hard to not give it to the freaks.
Yeah.
I get it. It's tough. I'm not going to sit there and say it's easy.
It is. So what is to be, let's just, rewind, not involving the PEDs and everything. What's expected mentally and physically during prep? First and foremost, yes, you're going to be physically putting your body through an insane process. You're going to be getting pretty lean. You're going to be working out. You're going to be tracking your food, everything that you eat, weighing and measuring, and following a very strict protocol. This is the difference, honestly, between our contest prep and our general nutrition. However, we still practice flexible nutrition. So there is no food off limits. You can still develop this healthy relationship with food. And the reason why we also do that is to keep clients from binge eating post-contest. The number one thing that happens backstage after a show is that the backstage is covered in junk food. And you wouldn't expect that at a healthy bodybuilding competition.
Yeah, they had cake backstage.
They had cake. So what happens is many people who have completely cut out cake and cupcakes and donuts and stuff like that for 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 20 weeks, 25 weeks, however long their prep has been, they are now getting a bite of it and binge. And
it is a straight binge. It's not overeating, it's binge.
A hardcore binge, and they have also developed an unhealthy relationship of food and fear of food. They were so restricted from different types of foods in order to attain a certain physique that they think that eating one of those bad foods, aka a food that's not high in vitamins and minerals, that they are going to blow up. And that is not the case. If you do flexible nutrition or if you work with us, you know that you can have anything you like.
Just not everything.
But not everything in unlimited quantities. So, when I prep, that might be a day I have a bite of a donut. Cool. It's not a big deal. Or a whole donut, whatever. And you don't have to eat that. Yes. So the option is there for you to decide what you want to eat, how you want to eat, as long as it's within your macronutrient range. Most coaches do not allow for this, even though a client would get pretty much the same physique without the mental health issues involved.
And I find it comes down to coaches that may have taken on too many clients, may be lazy, or may not have great ethics, where they're just pumping out copies to everybody.
Right. If you have a foundation of nutritional sciences, you'll understand that this is okay to do. It's you versus you. 100% this sport is you versus you. You cannot control who steps on stage next to you. You might be in your first year of training and the person next to you has been doing this for 20 years. You might be on first base, they might be on third base. So if you get caught in on comparing yourself with other people on social media and other people on stage with you, sure. Can you aspire to be a certain way? Yes.
Yeah, and that's great to be inspired by somebody.
And be inspired. But you cannot let that hurt your mindset or you will never get anywhere. You need to understand where you are at this point in time, and there is always work to be done. This sport is called bodybuilding, not body built. It's never done. It's a constant evolution of the body.
Yeah, it's, I love to compare it to sports really like track and field or stuff like that, or golf even. You're just looking to beat your best time or your best score or your best physique.
Yep.
What everybody else is doing doesn't matter.
And the best athletes, despite where they place, they get off stage and they say, this is what I need to work on for next year. And they're already game planning what to do for the next show.
Janet's great question.
Do you guys find that these so-called natural shows are in fact natural? Great question.
Yeah, my answer to that is, as long as you know when the drug test is, it's pretty hard to be natural. But I do find that those divisions are less, but not so much because of the natural thing, just because of more people tend to go to the NPC who want to go the enhanced route anyway. So they may not be all natural, but they're more natural.
Yes. Some of these tests are done just by lie detector, so there's that.
And again, if you know the date, you could cycle anything on or off.
Yeah. And then what is your definition of natural? Everybody kind of has a different definition of natural.
Well, which is silly. People like to make their own definitions.
Seriously.
To me, my definition of natural is if you're taking more than your base level in hormones.
Yeah.
So if you're a 35-year-old man who goes to a TRT clinic to get to base levels, I don't think that's PED.
Yeah.
It's when we're getting those superhuman levels.
Right.
And again, not all PEDs are created equal. Not all PEDs are as dangerous.
Right.
And just like anything else, the dose is the poison.
And that's what's happening. The stacks, the combinations, and the dosages is what's insane. And yeah,
improving, not proving. That's great.
And just like yoga, you practice yoga, not yoga perfect, and improving, not proving. Yeah, we are all constantly improving. Mr. Olympia is constantly improving. He doesn't get off stage and say, I'm going to beat everybody again next year. I'm just going to stay the same. Absolutely fucking not. He's saying, all right, what do I need to do to stay ahead for next year? So you need to remember that.
What's up, Melissa?
You need to remember the you versus you. You need to remember that you are constantly striving to be the best you can be at this point in time and beating your last self. That's to maintain a healthy mindset.
And that's it. So I think let's get into some of the...
So the other thing that is expected is communication between you and your coach. No matter who you work with, you need to communicate with them. Everybody that we work with is very different from one another. Some people need a little bit more...
What's up, Mary?
A little bit more checking in. That's communication. If you need me to check in with you more often, I absolutely freaking will. That's me just trying to be the best coach that I can for each athlete. But we need for you to do your job. Like when you're an athlete with us, Randy and I don't check your food logs because we trust that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So we need to trust that you're doing it, not lying to your coach. Your coach is trusting you that you're doing the work you're supposed to be doing. So,
and this is not just us, any coach.
This is any coach.
Communication. If you want something more from them, if you want something less from them, if you want something different, communicate.
Right.
Or if you're deciding to take a supplement without telling them, don't do that.
Don't do that. Please do not do that. Intensity. Making sure your intensity is where it needs to be in the gym. You're not going through the motions in the gym. You are pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. That is where growth and development lies.
And this could be a good chance to take one of those people you admire, study the way they work out, follow them, ask if you can get in a workout with them. Mm-hmm. Watch the intensity of some old Branch Warren and Johnny Jackson videos.
Oh, God, yeah.
There's something to be said for intensity. I mean, it's all to be said for intensity.
All to be said for intensity.
Yeah.
That is so true. Let me say, make sure you are getting into the sport for the right reasons.
It's not a weight loss competition.
This is not a weight loss competition. That's what general nutrition is for. And if you need motivation outside of competing, photo shoots are great. That's why we do photo shoots. Contest prep, like Randy said, it's not a weight loss competition. It's a whole other animal. In addition to that, I think it's very important to have a good handle on your mental health, and a good handle on your sense of self-worth.
Self-awareness is a huge advantage to have in the sport.
Yep. Self-awareness, self-esteem, but the sense of self-worth is very important because if your sense of self-worth is dependent on how you're going to place in a show, this is dangerous.
Yeah, because you're going to lose way off more often than you win.
100%.
Even the best.
Even the best of the best. And the best of the best did not get there over the night. They've been fighting for a decade, 10 years, 11 years, 15 years to get to where they are. Yeah. Doesn't happen in a year.
And then injuries happen and set them back all the way.
We all have setbacks.
Yeah.
The best in the sport has had setbacks, but they were persistent They did what they had to do during their setback, and then they overcame it and moved forward. Again, if you're expecting to be Mr. Olympia year one, it's not going to happen. You have to understand that Mr. Olympia has fought for that for years. I kind of touched on this before, the lack of transparency in the sport and kids or somebody new to the sport being influenced by somebody who has like this big following and they're super popular and they're sponsored by Gymshark or whatever it is. They are not telling you the whole story. So again, please do not compare yourself to them.
Yeah. And what's nice though, actually, since all this stuff's been going on, not huge, but we have seen a few more people be transparent about their drug protocols and what's really going on.
Yes. And I have mad respect for that.
Yeah, because it's not a thing like it is what it is thing.
Right. Right. But nor should it be normalized for just an average Joe to be like, oh, I'm going to start taking tren. Like, no.
Yeah, and nor are we trying to promote or dispromote any sort of things here. We're just kind of
We're not talking. Pro or anti. We're just,
talking.
This is it. Like, these are just facts, and that's it. We're pro information.
Yes.
Yes.
We're not pro-hormone.
No. Understanding the difference between motivation and discipline. I say this all the time, but your motivation will not last. We do not wake up every day motivated. You need to be disciplined. And some days you just got to say, all right, this is what I'm supposed to do today. I just got to do it.
Especially for contest prep.
Yep. So do not expect for setting a show date up to be your primary source of motivation.
Yeah, it'll work a little, but not most of the time.
Correct. Behind the scenes of the show is dirty. Everything looks quite glamorous.
This is fun dirty.
This is fun dirty. Like me, I have never had so much baby oil lathered up on me today for a photo shoot. I am more oily today than I ever was at a show.
That's so funny.
But backstage, it looks so glamorous in these pictures, but it is dirty. You haven't put deodorant on for days. You haven't showered for days. You're covered in that very dark tanning solution. You're covered in oil.
Well, you may be hungry. You're definitely cranky.
Yeah.
Definitely thirsty.
Definitely thirsty. But a lot goes on behind the scenes that you would never expect. Yeah. I mean, girls are just trying not to pee on themselves to ruin their tan.
And it's normally a pretty cool camaraderie backstage, normally.
Yes. Everybody's in it together. And that's also why I like this sport. We all just like each other, just complete strangers. And we're like, let's do this.
You're a certain kind of crazy.
We are a certain type of crazy. You have to be a certain type of crazy to love this sport. I know I've been so serious tonight, but I fucking love this sport. Hell yeah, it's the day-to-day grind of just do the work.
Yeah.
Mike is another one of our athletes that competed this past weekend. He killed it at his first show. He lit up the stage. And yeah, you have to enjoy that day-to-day work. It is part of the process. You got to enjoy it. Off season. The importance of your developmental season. This is where your progress lies. And many athletes do not take advantage of this time. They do not feed their body nor train it the way it's supposed to be done.
This goes out to all the first-time athletes this year. You did the easy part.
And we have some athletes that haven't competed with us before, but they are in their developmental season for 2022 tuning in right now.
So everybody's competing. This is the hard part coming up right now. This is where you really make the changes, really grow. You know, the old quote I always love to use is during the off season we add marble. We're adding marble. And during prep, we're just shaving it down. So during prep, you're not really improving. You're just showing off your improvements.
Yeah. Oh, I'm working. I'll come up in a little bit. That's my niece. She's awesome.
I don't think she's on PEDs.
So again, this time
she may be on some cleanse. She's always awake.
Ready to go? Joke about that stuff.
Babies take cleanse, don't they?
No.
Oh. Well then.
No one listen to her, Andy, please. But we, again, like you said, this is your time to, whether it's reverse dieting, eating enough food, training with the proper intensity. It is so important to take advantage of this time. No, you shouldn't be doing a bulking season, a 1 month bulk, a 2 month bulk.
It should be at least 4 to 6 months.
You need time.
And sometimes longer. Some athletes take 2 year bulks, 1 year bulks,
Oh yeah, how many people have we worked with that took off like 2 to 3 years and came back animals?
Yeah, and it's, it's really not a right or wrong. Yeah. It's just they understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, sort of thing.
Yes.
Some people are in the sport and they just like it. Hey, if you just like it, your off season doesn't have to be that long, no big deal.
Yeah.
But understand you're not going to improve that much.
Yep. And consistency is just as important in the off season as it is in the on season.
Not more so, but more
equal.
It's equal. Yeah.
But I think people, when they don't have a contest date set, or it's not in 8 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, 60 weeks from now, they tend to lose that consistency.
So it's a different sort of game.
It is a different sort of game. Another thing that's a huge pet peeve of mine is people wanting the route of PEDs, but they don't put any of the work in. So
this, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
So this is going to be my defense of drugs. The best athletes didn't get there because of the drugs. They got there because they put a lot of fucking hard work in, and then they took it.
And continued to work even harder.
Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he took steroids, and then he became a freak after.
Yeah.
I can go take all the roids in the world. I'm not going to go hit a baseball. It's not going to happen.
And this is something that I have had a few disputes with in the past, because I have had clients come up to me saying that they wanted to take Anavar, Winstrol, whatever it is. And first of all, I don't provide that or even go that route. But secondly, I had to straight up tell them to their face, you haven't tracked a meal in weeks and you're not working out the way you're supposed to be working out. Why would any coach, a coach that even does this, that's no coach should give anybody anything if a client's not even doing the basics. So please keep that in mind.
Yeah, and just if you ever decide to work with a coach and the first thing they give you is a drug protocol, that's a pretty big red flag.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm not going to go too far into that.
Yeah, I'll bite my tongue on that one. What does it take to go pro? Again, if you're a first-time athlete and you're saying, I'm going to go pro. First of all, see if you like this freaking sport to begin with. Obviously, I fell in love with this sport. But do a season. See how you feel. Do an off season. Do a second season. Ooh. And then understand that it's a lot more than I'm following a diet plan and working out.
It's a true lifestyle when you're trying to go that route.
It is a true lifestyle.
And unfortunately, this is where it comes down to, like anything at a high professional level, whether the NFL, NBA, sometimes you can want it and try the hardest and it's not in the stars for you.
Genetics matter.
Yeah, genetics matter. Life matters.
I wish I can look at you and say, genetics don't matter. Genetics matter, especially when it comes to the shape of our muscle bellies, our ratios,
our metabolism. How fast or slow we just naturally gain muscle.
Right. So can some of these things be, can you work against some of these things? Yes, but the genetics are just so very important in this
especially
sport.
At the highest level. At the local level, you can overcome anything.
Right.
But as you get to the higher level, it's nice that you have genetics, you need them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just like in the NBA, you're not going to see too many guys under 6 feet.
That's good. Make a good point. This sport has evolved tremendously since I first got into the sport. Let's put it this way. If my best package I ever had went to a local level show, a very competitive local level show, there's a chance I might not even place at some of these shows. The bodies are bigger and they're harder. And a lot of that does have to do with the drug protocols that are going on.
And that's it. This is going to sound, I think it always sounds sour grapes when I say this, so I don't love saying it, but if you think somebody's on drugs, probably on drugs.
Now, what type, what dosages, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. And when it comes to influencers and stuff like that.
Influencers.
You're better off assuming they are. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. And again,
I don't know. My first year I ever competed, my old group of friends was like, she's on steroids. I'm like, I am the most natural.
No.
I didn't even take creatine.
Let me rephrase that.
First year.
If you know what people on drugs look like.
Well, you need to, first of all, know what you're looking for in that. Anybody that isn't in this sport.
Then it can seem like anyone
can look at a fit person and be on steroids. You look at my photo shoot today and say, Michelle must be on steroids. Absolutely fucking not. Again, I don't even take fucking creatine. But you need to understand what you're looking for before you pass judgment on people.
And again, I'm not poo-pooing all this stuff. I have clients that go to hormone centers and have phenomenal results. Is there something to be said for certain things? Absolutely. But these are not things that you should be talking about going into your first show, second show. These are usually things you should be having a discussion about. I might go pro. I might think about the Olympia. And even then, it's a personal decision. Everyone can choose their own risk assessment with life. But make sure you're going to it fully informed and really understand what you're risking.
And, that kind of brings me to that next point, is the contest prep blinders that I mentioned before, and people that say, I will die for this. I will die for this. But would you live for this?
No, but we've seen somebody die. Dying's easy.
So, if you're not...
It's everyone else who left around, it sucks for.
Yeah. If you're not deep into the sport, a lot of tragedy has happened in the last few weeks, but it's honestly been happening all these years. I think a lot of things are dusted under the rug and not spoken about.
Those are one of the good things of social media.
Yeah, so social media is finally getting word out there of abuse of PEDs.
Oh. I'm so glad you said that. That's my point I've been meaning to say. There's a difference between use and abuse.
So
I'm sorry.
No, I'm very glad that you said that. It's a good quote. But the big thing right now that's going on is diuretic use. Very, very heavy use of diuretics.
And we're not talking dandelion.
No, we're not talking about MHP's Expel. We're talking about
stuff for
aldactone.
We don't need to get the name.
But yeah,
but stuff that it's medical grade for people that are dying.
But not only that, it's the combinations and the heavy dosages that are being used and the duration of time. It's just a recipe for disaster. And I think the other day when we were talking, I just started crying the other day because these people are literally losing their lives and they should still be alive right now. So when you're working with a coach, if something doesn't feel right, you need to speak up. And I'm not talking about
I'm tired.
I'm tired today and I just want to lay on the couch, but I need to go work out. I'm not talking about that.
You're I'm peeing brown and my lower back hurts.
Yeah, I'm peeing brown and my kidneys are shutting down.
Yeah.
You need to
I'm not sweating anymore.
Yeah. You need to speak up.
My cramps are out of control.
And if you need a freaking second opinion, you get a second opinion. You go for your blood works, you go for your labs, you do what you got to do. Because
if a trainer ever tells you not to do those things, that should be concerning.
Yeah. Because I guarantee you, these people that passed away, they didn't want to die. But they did do whatever it took.
Well, you know what? It's very easy to overlook things when you have blinders on.
Yeah. So you need to speak up. Hey, Michelle. I can't stress it enough. I think I had a nervous breakdown the other day when I was talking about this with you.
And it's tough. It's shitty. And it's not even I feel like I'd be able to handle all the tragedy that's going on better if the people really knew the risk. And they were fully informed and go, you know what? It went the wrong way, but I knew what I was getting into. And I don't think that's the case.
Right. I mean, you have people that they need to get open heart surgery. They have thyroid damage, blood clots.
Kidney failure, legs cut off.
Kidney failure,
amputation.
Loose of limbs. I mean, the list goes on and on of stuff I've seen in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, irreparable reproductive organ issues, voice
especially
issues.
Especially for women, yeah.
Jaws.
Yeah.
You
acne,
name it. Fertility issues, yeah.
Fertility issues. And Melissa says, so sad because it's easy to think in the moment and not think long term. And that's why, as a coach, I'm constantly trying to tell people, but what's next?
Yeah, especially when you see 100 people do it and 80 and 90 live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same argument for 8-year-old football players not understanding the risk of head injuries when they eventually go pro.
You nailed it.
And you see it. I mean, we watched enough documentaries on that one. Jeez.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And it's really funny you said that, Alex, because I really compare the drug issue in bodybuilding to concussions and CTE in the NFL.
Yeah.
They've always known it was there, but it was really easy to ignore it for the sport.
Yeah. Yep. So you got to remember what's next, what's after the show, what things are going to be irreversible. Am I willing to deal with the consequences of my actions?
Right.
Do I feel uncomfortable? Am I asking my coach about something that I'm medically concerned about and he's just dusting it off? Whatever it is, you really need to sit and have that conversation with yourself and say, is this the path that I want to take? Maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah. But you got to remember, what do you win in the end?
Yeah.
A plastic trophy that was $5.
And a lot of times, too, when it comes to PED use, less is more. Over the years, I've seen people use very small amounts and look incredible, do amazing. Mm-hmm. Problem is, it's very easy to get caught up in if a little is good, more must be better.
And it's not.
And to a point, the problem is you'll feel like it is.
Right.
But you're also not seeing the bad stuff that's going on.
Right.
It sucks. It's really shitty.
Yeah, and a lot of people that are taking excessive amounts of things aren't getting their insides checked. It is very easy to look at somebody who looks magnificent from the outside. Oh my God, they are the epitome of health. But guarantee you take a look at their blood works and their internal vital organs, it might be saying something very different. So health You have to remember internal health. You have your physical health, your mental health, internal health.
Yeah. It's really one of the things. If you're going to mess with a heavy amount of drugs, you have to understand you may be risking your life.
Yep.
And, we're all young and dumb, and we all say, yeah, but it's real.
It is real.
And it's not you who's going to get hurt. You die, you don't know. It's everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And when I said something before, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way, like, what do you win in the end? A trophy. I mean, technically, yes, there is more to winning than that.
Yes, there's a lot of internal.
Yeah,
there's a lot of huge things. It's a great accomplishment, tremendous milestone.
Right.
That trophy represents a lot.
A tremendous amount.
But I think what she's saying is more like you're not an MLB player looking at a $100 million contract here.
Yeah. And just remember, what is it worth to you? That's really kind of what I'm trying to say. I mean, I'm an athlete. I'm a competitor. I fucking love this sport. I've been competing since 2013. I freaking love getting on the stage. But my reasoning on the stage is, I think, very different from a lot of people. And I am having a good time. This is a hobby. This is fun. It's me versus me. I don't like to call it a challenge. But
it's a challenge. You challenge yourself
I'm always trying to be a better version of myself. But I have that line that I will not cross, and everybody's line is different. I know what mine is. You know what yours is. And I will work my ass off in the gym. I will diet down and do what I have to. But there, like I said, there is a line that I'm not willing to step
And I think
past.
that's the biggest thing today. Now, I'm not knocking anybody for doing anything because,
This is not a knock.
I've made more dumb decisions in my life than everyone combined.
He has, and I can vouch for that. I don't know how
it's more about informed consent. Understand what you're doing and what the risks are. And then that's up to you, man. It's live your life. At the end of the day, it is your body, it is your life, do your thing. But
it's just awareness.
It's awareness, and it's real. We're always happy to help. I have a pretty good background in this, as a young person before Revolutionize. Yeah, of course, I've been in the bodybuilding industry forever. I've messed with things. Mm-hmm. I've saw the bad sides of it. I've seen the good sides of it. Mm-hmm. So if anybody needs, I'm here to talk, here to have, if it's something I haven't heard of, I'll do some real research for you and look it up.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We're not anti-PED. We're just here to...
Pro-information.
Give you information, maybe have you take an extra step to look into things, to research, to study, and to know we are not prude to the topic of conversation.
Oh, thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you guys for having this honest conversation. It's super important for anyone who is in the sport, new to the sport, or considering the sport. Yeah, it breaks my heart when I have to tell a young kid who wants to be Mr. Olympia, that, hey, that might not happen without X, Y,
It's not just
Z.
the old Hulk Hogan, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, work hard.
And our industry is infamous for this. Professional athlete. Oh. Here's my protein powder, and here's my BCAAs.
From brand X.
From brand X. And I look this way only from these things. And I have to tell this child or newbie to the sport that they look that way because they took this drug, this drug, this drug, this drug, and their protein powder.
Yeah. And it's even more frustrating, I find, from...
Plus their hard work, plus their hard work.
But, see coaches, athletes, and other people push programs, go, here's the program I do. You can look like me doing this program. And it's like, yeah, but what else? And it may be the best program ever. But if you leave out the other part, you may still get really far, but it's just really dishonest advertising.
Yeah. Take a shot in the locker room.
The Hogan,
true Hogan way. I was just talking about Rob about that today.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys have questions, I want you to drop them in the comments right now because this is the time that I think this is the most open and honest we've ever been, and I do not want people to take the words I'm saying wrong or take offense to it. It's more of just creating awareness for people who are new to this sport that you
have been in the sport and have had rose-colored glasses on.
Yeah, you may not have the full story, and I don't want you to compare yourself to other people without having that full story and so forth.
Yeah, there's just because the stuff that's being reported is important, but there's so much that doesn't get reported that we see.
Too much,
and it's not great.
Way
I'm
too much.
I'm not going to get too far into it. It's just not great.
It's awful. And again, because the sport is so glamorous looking, I don't think people are aware of all of that.
And it gets dusted. It's very easy to say, oh, it wasn't that, he had this, or it wasn't that, he had this.
Yeah, there's a few There's a few podcasts. I'm not going to say the names of it right now because I honestly can't remember them. If you're curious, there are a few podcasts that happened over the course of this past weekend talking about the specific events that happened in the sport.
Yeah, we'll post some links up to them.
And damn, do they dig deep into it, and they tell you exactly what went down.
My favorite was Sean Ray. Sean Ray put out a good one, and Jamie Pinder put out good ones. The other one was...
It was good, but it was coming from somebody who
I refused to promote.
Yeah.
But check out Jamie Pinder and Sean Ray for some really good information.
Yeah, and I don't want you guys to take what we're saying as like fear of the sport.
No, it's awesome.
The sport is fucking awesome.
And there's a level of PED use that you're never going to get hurt by.
Yeah, and these type of things go on in any sport.
It's just ours.
Anywhere, it's just in our sport.
We push the envelope.
We push the envelope, and they are talking about it right now. And while everybody's talking about it, I think it's important because I cannot hold myself back anymore. I've been holding this back for years.
We've been talking about this for years.
Like, we talk about it in private with people, but to talk about it in public is...
It's about time.
It's another animal. Can you write the names in the comments? Yes, of the podcasts.
We'll just write Jamie Pinder and Sean Ray.
Yes. You're going to see my face up really close right now. Wait, Jamie Pinder... Sean Ray.
Yeah, you should be able to just find them on Instagram. I think Sean's might be on YouTube. I don't recall, but I think Jamie's are on Instagram.
Yeah, I think they might both be on Instagram.
It
might be like one of the most recent ones that popped up.
And Jamie does a lot of good stuff with that, where she's pretty open about her protocols and the stuff she does as well.
Yeah,
which is kind of neat.
It's nice to hear it from female athletes being open about it because unfortunately this is heavily affecting the female athletes, and and
it is. There is more risk as a woman. There just is.
Yeah.
With men,
they're still dying.
Equal
also,
risks, but there's different risks.
And they're putting women on the dosages that men are taking. That's another issue.
But if you guys have any questions, let us know. Or if you have questions that you're not super comfortable putting in a private setting, please DM us.
Please DM us. And if you're working with a coach and something doesn't feel right, just talk to them about it.
Or ask us, and I might say, "Oh, that's perfectly normal. That's not a problem."
Yeah, because there are things that are normal in this sport that seem weird. Fucking weird. They seem really weird, and
and some that seem normal and are really fucking not normal.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
So I mean, I'm not stepping on coaches' toes. It's not that, but I think that do your research. If anything, do your research.
Yeah, always double check with someone kind of outside the industry who has a good technical background.
Yeah.
Whether it be a doctor, a friend.
I mean, most doctors are going to be like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a doctor that understands bodybuilding.
It's hard, but, do your own research. Yeah. Talk to a Randy or somebody else.
Yeah.
Talk to an uninterested third party.
Yes. Again, guys, ask questions in the comments. You can ask them anything. Michelle and Randy have heard it all. Oh, have we heard it all?
And like I said, you could see us in the office and ask us. Because some of the stuff is personal, some of it's,
We've either heard it all or I personally have been through it all. So.
Yeah. And, probably most of it's pretty illegal.
Again, guys, please drop your questions. There's also a question mark blurb in the bottom right. It's at the bottom right of this phone.
Where we'll only see the question.
Where we'll see the question, but we will answer it anonymously. We won't say who it is in case any of the silent followers have a question for us, but they don't want it to be seen in the
But if not, I think next week we're planning on talking about, I believe, sleep. Maybe sleep. Sleep's been the one we've been talking about, but sleep and stress.
Yeah.
But if you guys have something else, you let us know.
Yeah. We're 3.5 weeks out from our photo shoot.
Yeah, we got Kelly locked up for the 8th.
Kelly Johnson's coming back. Kelly Johnson will be here September 8th. It's whatever that Wednesday is. To discuss some really cool topics. We're so happy to have her back on. She's our lovely psychiatrist, therapist, psychologist, therapist friend. We love her so much. We're hoping to do an in-person seminar as long as everything's okay with this.
They're getting there. We're talking.
We would love to do a big in-person seminar at Rev.
The way things are going right now might be a little late again.
We'll see, because if you've been there before, they're lots and lots of fun. Sleep is important. Yes, it is. 3.5 weeks out from our Rev photo shoot for anybody who's taking part in that.
Fast.
3.5 weeks, dude, right? We are so excited about that. If you have any questions regarding it, please let me know. There are 2 spots left for it if you still want to hop on board.
And you don't have to be a member. You can be a friend, whoever.
Don't have to be a Rev member, but it's going to be so much fun. And Eat Clean Bros Catering. I'm going to have a goodie bag for everybody packed with a bunch of takeaways.
You certainly can be in the photo shoot, Val.
Pregnancy shoot. Come. Love you.
And Michelle will be in Canada this weekend, so if anybody's up there, send her some pancakes and maple syrup.
Send me pancakes. Yeah, I will be in Canada. I'll be working from my phone, but if I don't answer right away, I'm seeing my sister for the first time in 2 years since the borders opened. So if I don't get to you right away and it's an emergency.
And if she gets attacked by a loose moose up there,
Use of peptides for various reasons, HGH, soft tissue repair, etc.
So it's actually a conversation we had off camera this weekend about peptides.
Oh, yeah.
Same answer of, you can get just as much trouble with them as you can with everything else. Peptides, SARMs, all those things. Everyone likes to make them out like they're tiers of risk. But, and some things, a little HGH is okay. But, if you got a tumor growing, any amount of HGH is not okay.
Right. Which is why it's, again, important to make sure your internal health is where it needs to be.
So these are things where it really comes down to, at the very least, make sure your doctor gives you a clear physical before you even think about stuff. So at least you go into it knowing you don't have any underlying issues.
Yeah.
It puts you in the best position to do that.
Yeah. HGH and testosterone is a big part of this sport.
Yeah,
it's normal, pretty much.
There's so many hormone clinics out now that, they can talk to you about it realistically. That would be my best advice. Go to a hormone clinic and tell them what you're planning.
Is it true to smoke marijuana after working out to help with recovery like Arnold and pumping iron?
Probably. I would say yes. I would. It's definitely a myth right now, but
scientifically, I don't know.
I would put it in the probably.
But you know what? I think I need to look into this because on a science level, I actually do want to know the answer to that. But it does aid in sleeping.
Yeah, but aids in sleeping, aids in eating, and your muscles are relaxed and recovering. I would get a vote of 75% yes from me.
Yeah, listen, it's a chain reaction. If you smoke weed,
Chuck, I'll have to study this.
Yeah, if you smoke weed, you pass out, and you get an 8-hour night of sleep. That's recovery.
I'm going to have to do some in-depth personal studying of this, investigating it very closely.
If anybody would like to sponsor us in that effort, please send
weed.
Your weed. Yeah, so sleep recovery, it goes hand in hand. I've been doing it for recovery and sleep. Yep. I'm on board with that, guys. 100% on board with that. I am a supporter.
Yeah.
I can help. Let's talk.
Yeah.
I can talk about that. I can talk about that on Medical MJ. Yep. I thank God it's finally legal because it is helping so many people.
It is. It helps a lot of people.
I'm an advocate for it. I should be a face for a company. And that'll be my face for it.
On that. Thank you guys so much. If this is something you want us to go into again or deeper or different, please let us know. Because
I didn't want to go too deep.
These are the ones I enjoy doing the most sometimes.
Yeah. It helps with sleep 2,000%, and sleep helps with recovery. Yeah. And it's just that beautiful cyclical snowball reaction. I'm a medical as well, and it takes away my anxiety and knee pain. Dude.
It's awesome.
I love it.
Maybe we have to bring on that weed lawyer.
Oh, what a good live that would be. I'm inspired.
That's a maybe.
I'm writing that down.
All right, guys. Stay healthy.
Do a whole seminar
stay sane.
Recovery. Yeah, we love you guys. If you have other questions, let us know.
Or
if you want us to go deeper into things, let us know. I hope I wasn't too rough with you guys today, but
I don't think so. I think you're good.
You think I was okay?
You're good.
It needed to be said. And I love you all. And remember how important your internal health and well-being, mental health is. It's not just about what you see on the outside. Fill your body with
drugs on the inside. Good night, guys.
Goodbye, everybody.